Let me tell you the story of a man named Jorge Mario Bergoglio, whose life journey took him from the bustling streets of Buenos Aires to the heart of the Catholic Church. It began in Argentina, on December 17, 1936. Jorge was born into a family of Italian immigrants. He grew up in a working-class neighborhood, experiencing the realities of everyday life. He wasn't always destined for the priesthood. He even trained as a chemical technician. But life, as it often does, had other plans. A moment of profound spiritual experience set him on a different path. He entered the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, a religious order known for its intellectual rigor and commitment to service. He studied, he served, and he rose through the ranks of the church in Argentina. He became a priest, then a bishop, and eventually, the Archbishop of Buenos Aires. In Buenos Aires, he was known for his humility. He took public transportation, lived simply, and dedicated himself to the poor and marginalized. He was Father Jorge, a shepherd close to his flock. Then, in 2013, history took an unexpected turn. The cardinals gathered in Rome to elect a new pope, and they chose Jorge Mario Bergoglio. He became Pope Francis, the first pope from the Americas, the first from the Southern Hemisphere, and the first Jesuit to wear the papal robes. His papacy was a breath of fresh air. He chose the name Francis, after Saint Francis of Assisi, a symbol of poverty and simplicity. He continued to live humbly, choosing a modest residence instead of the grand papal apartments. He spoke of mercy, not judgment. He reached out to the forgotten, the excluded, and the suffering. He became a voice for the voiceless, a champion of the poor, a defender of the environment. He called for action on climate change, condemned economic inequality, and advocated for the rights of migrants and refugees. He sought dialogue with other religions, building bridges of understanding and peace. He even began to shift the Church's stance on some long-held views, speaking of the dignity of all people, regardless of their background. Pope Francis led the Catholic Church for 12 years, until April 21, 2025. He passed away in the early morning, on Easter Monday, after suffering a stroke. He was 88 years old. The news of his death spread across the world, and people of all faiths, and no faith, mourned. They remembered his smile, his gentle words, his unwavering commitment to a more just and compassionate world. The Vatican prepared for his funeral. It was a grand, yet solemn, affair. St. Peter's Square filled with hundreds of thousands of people, pilgrims from every corner of the globe. World leaders, religious figures, and ordinary people came to pay their respects. The ancient rituals of the Church unfolded. The cardinals, in their crimson robes, gathered to say their final farewell. The funeral mass was celebrated, a testament to his life and his service. Afterwards, his body was laid to rest in the Vatican grottos, beneath the magnificent Basilica of St. Peter's. But his spirit, his message, his legacy, lived on. The world remembered him as a pope of the people, a man of humility and courage, a voice of conscience. He was a shepherd who walked among his flock, a leader who reminded us of our shared humanity, and a reminder that even in the highest of places, compassion and simplicity can change the world. And so, the story of Pope Francis became a part of history, a story that continues to inspire.